Hello everyone, my name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium where I react to video game music as a musician myself, and already we are back with Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. I just checked out some Ys 8 very recently, and we're already back. We're going to be listening to two songs called Oceanos and Everlasting Transeunt, both from the Falcom Music Channel. Well, back with more Falcom, back with more Ys. People seem to really like Ys, which now I know was like a city based on some myth. And we have the main character who's in all of them. And Ys 8 is liked by a lot of the community, and that's pretty much where I'm at. It's an action-adventure RPG. That's all I know. And it's a lot of nice heavy metal music. But who knows? Might get something else today. Oceanos, we are starting with. This is requested by Patrick and Zachary. Thank you. Oceanos. I've been told that some of the high intensity stuff is not necessarily battle music, but just walking around music. So who knows? This one has a different energy though. It's a little more menacing. Regardless if they're shredding or not, it seems to be very melodic music from this game. Nice and sweet. Okay. Even though I just said that, let me backtrack a little bit. I said that a lot of Ys music has this kind of like heavy metal energy to it, and that a lot of it sounds like battle music. But the comments were like, no, I mean, it does sound like that, but also a lot of the just walking around music sounds like that. So I was like, okay. But this one actually does sound like battle music because of the, and I hope I'm wrong, but it does have the sort of more menacing approach, like something is coming. Dun, 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 dun. It just sounds like a looming evil is approaching you or something like that. And what I have to give respect to in Ys, at least in 8, is that they paid attention to the rhythm guitars as much as the lead guitars. I think only, let me know if this counts for you too, the casual audience, but as a guitar player, I really appreciate that, because usually the lead is what people pay attention to, right? It's like, it's the loudest, it's mixed better, and it's always up front. It's the thing you pay attention to the most. But a good rhythm section is pretty gnarly, and it seems like, at least with Ys 8, there's stuff that's memorable in the rhythm section. This one was dun, 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 dun. And I like that. I like that it doesn't get drowned out in the mix. And it seems everything kind of has their time to shine. Although I wish the bass was a little louder in East. It's not the biggest complaint. It's just kind of wish it was louder. I don't know. But that's kind of music in general. Bass sometimes gets the short end of the stick a lot, and that's unfortunate. In many bands and many recordings, it's just some people have it as like just low end. Some people have it way more up front. I like to hear it and feel it. So, Oceanos. The name suggests something different though. As far as doesn't sound like a fight. It just sounds like a place. It's hard to tell with East, really. It really is. But it's nice to know that the community for these games are really passionate about it. I don't think I've heard anything bad about 8, which is weird. You know, when a game is so... Like, I feel like 8 is the most talked about, besides Origin, amongst the community. But no one really has anything bad to say about 8. So I guess this is my time to ask, like, are there... You know, what are some critiques about 8 that... when there's that many games, surely you get these comparisons to like the older ones or the ones after it. But I mean, I usually just hear like nothing but praises. The worst I'll hear will be like, I prefer some of the older games, but they don't like talk down on 8. So it's like, maybe this game is just really, really good, and that's okay. But you know, yeah, I wonder if there's anything like wrong with it. Oceanos was pretty cool. I like the rhythm guitar, but to me this one actually did sound like battle music, just because of the kind of slower, menacing approach to it. Really enjoyable though. Let's go right to the next one. Everlasting Transeunt. That's an interesting name. A little longer. Yeah, that's an interesting name. Okay. Everlasting Transeunt. See if electric guitars come out of nowhere. Okay. A lot of violins, though. It's a major instrument in this game. Chorus guitar. You don't hear that too often. Very 80s. It's an effects on the guitar. Sounds like it's underwater. Harmonizing violins. Ooh. I spoke too soon on the whole metal thing. Got a groove. Thought I heard something. Good bass. Okay, there is. I thought I heard it. There's an electric guitar back there. Just very faintly. I'm going to talk about that clean guitar in a second. One of the more unique sounding East songs I've heard. sound great in these games. It's not just boring, like, you can hear all the fills everywhere. Really cool. It's like 2 takes of a violin, not playing the same thing. Similar though. Manifestation. I've been saying for a while, I'm like, and I never meant it in a bad way, but I've said, like, man, a lot of East music is, it kind of has this formula that I've noticed, at least everything I've heard so far up until now, where it's, you know, pretty energetic heavy metal with violins, essentially, and cool rhythm guitars and all that. But this time, quite different. Quite different. This one had very... Now, mind you, I didn't get like a specific setting. Sometimes I get stuff, sometimes I don't. But this one, it felt very much like a lullaby. You know, with the music dropping, and then it's just kind of like solo violin and this piano. Kind of sounds like music box-ish a little bit. But it sounded so different from everything I've heard from East. And I think the slowest, closest to a ballad that I've heard from VIII. So it stood out like a sore thumb, right? Which is cool though, because they retained the whole percussion. I said that earlier, the drums are really a cool thing in East games, where it's not just like a very basic groove. In fact, they do a lot of fills and a lot of little nuances, and even that was happening while the song was slowed down. And I really enjoy that, because it's, you know, it doesn't... It gives the song life where it could otherwise sound kind of stale. This one was all about the violins. It wasn't the only thing featured, but I definitely... there might have even been a cello there, or another violin that was played lower. But, you know, there was like the high crying sound of the violin that we heard towards the end, and then there was that sort of low tonality too, which it could have been a cello, but either way, you know, just the viola type of instrument. And I mean, that family of instruments, I should say. I did hear the bass a little bit in this one, although still kind of low, but I heard it and it was like perfect spots. But the thing that was interesting was the acoustic guitar and the very little presence of the electric guitar, which I'm pretty sure was there. Pretty sure it was like just doing like power chords really, really lightly. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was there, which is totally a far cry from, you know, dun. This one had a really cool, interesting middle solo, like on the acoustic guitar, which was very reminiscent of flamenco style playing. But it was interesting because, like, that style and sound is usually tied with nylon guitars or classical guitars and like finger style. That one was the same style, but it was like on an acoustic guitar, meaning the big acoustic guitars with the steel bronze strings, so it had this chiminess to it, and it also sounded kind of finger picked. Usually acoustic guitars are strummed and have, you know, play with the pick. It's got that big, you know, chord sound that people like singer-songwriters use. It's not often, I say often, it's not often used as like a kind of solo lead instrument that's played with your fingers, because the strings are kind of hard on your fingers. In fact, if you want to see what I'm talking about, because I mean, you know, if you don't know guitars, you can probably think that nylons and acoustics like look the same and sound the same, but they don't. But to give you an idea, there's a really cool artist named Antoine Dufour, D-U-F-O-U-R. I think he's Canadian, and he does like solo acoustic playing, and you can hear like, oh, I've never heard an acoustic like that. You know, acoustics don't do that. When you think acoustic, it's always, you know, singer-songwriter, they're just strumming it along while they sing. And the nylon is the one where people like do-do-do-do-do. Anyways, but it was cool hearing that style on an acoustic guitar, because you don't hear that too often, if ever. It's very rare, even for me. But it was nice that they kind of had that little like flamenco flavor in there for just a moment, adding to this very unique song. And I believe probably the most standout East 8, at least, song that I've heard. Which is good, because I'm a huge fan of variety, and I know now that it's not all just as much as I love the I really, you know, because these are RPGs, and RPGs, like, the first thing that comes to mind is story. So I kind of knew without knowing, but you can't have music like that all the time, right? There's got to be moments of thought and emotion and all that. So it was bound to happen. But it's cool that the violins really like shine there for that specific reason. Is it still the same? Yeah, I think it's still JDK. Either way, the credits are always here. Oh, it was a cello. I was right. Yeah, violin and cello. But yeah, this is Yukiro Jindo. Whoever that is, they know how to write. I feel like they've done most of the songs I've heard from 8. I could be wrong about that, because it's hard to kind of keep track with Falcom composers. But I think Yukiro is kind of like the main one for 8. I could be wrong. Let me know. Anyways, whew, the Falcom journey continues. The East 8 continues. Let me know what this song is relating to, and also the first one, if the first one is indeed a battle theme or not, because it sounded like one to me. But interesting that both songs were kind of like on the slower side-ish. But it's really cool. I like it. Thank you to Patrick and Zachary for that. Thank you to my Patreon members. Thank you to my Platinum members. Thanks to you for watching, East and Falcom fans. I'm still interested in perhaps playing one of these one day, but I'll let you guys know when that happens, or if that happens. But yeah, I'm curious how these sound in game. Anyways, my name is Jesse in the auditorium. Take it easy.